Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast. In today's review, I want to take a look at this 1/43 scale Maserati Quattroporte GTS by Leo Models. So this is what the model looks like inside its box. As you can see, this is a typical WhiteBox packaging. And here we have the logo of WhiteBox and modelcarworld.com. Not exactly sure why their website is here, because I didn't know that these websites would be also on the branding, but there you go. I didn't buy it from Model Car World, though. I bought it from CK Model Cars. Kind of weird. Anyway, here we have, of course, the number. And then at the bottom, we have the Maserati branding and some legal information. So now let's get this model out of the box. And this is basically what it looks like. It comes in this hard plastic case, which means it is protected from dust. It looks very nice. And now I'm going to get this out of its box and then we'll continue. Quattroporte in Italian literally means 4 doors. And this is basically Maserati's flagship 4-door sedan, and the Quattroporte has a very long history, stretching back all the way to the 1960s. So this is the current and 6th generation of the Quattroporte, which was introduced in early 2013. And this is basically the big brother of the Maserati Ghibli. Kind of like how the Rolls-Royce Phantom is bigger than the Ghost. And now let's talk a little bit about the engine. Since this is the Quattroporte GTS, it is equipped with a 523 horsepower generating 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 instead of a 3-liter V6, and goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.7 seconds, with a top speed of 310 km per hour, and is of course also rear-wheel drive. The engines of the Maserati Quattroporte GTS are designed and assembled by Ferrari. Another way you can distinguish the flagship GTS compared to the regular Quattroporte is by the trapezoidal instead of round tailpipes. What's interesting about this car is that I couldn't find it in 1/24 scale, and in 1/18 scale there are 2 manufacturers that make it. One is Auto Art, and the other is BBR. And both of those are like over 250 euros. So I just thought to myself, well, what's an alternative? And then in 1/43 scale, I found this one by Leo Models. And I came across this car on CK Model Cars, and the main reason why I purchased it is because of this color combination. This is a metallic dark blue, which looks absolutely fantastic in direct sunlight. As you can see, the individual pigments and flaking just begin to sparkle. But even in diffuse light, it looks pretty nice. And so this color combination is really what convinced me to buy the model, and you can see that this is a dark blue with a bright interior. A more common color this model is available in is a metallic beige, or I guess a champagne kind of color. And that is actually cheaper than this model, because the champagne one sells for less than 15 euros, But for this dark blue one, I actually had to pay 20, and usually it retails for around 25. And then this model is also available in a burgundy red. I don't have a whole lot of Maseratis in my collection, so that was another reason why I bought this car. So here's a look at the front of this car, and immediately what you can see is this giant Maserati grille, which is very typical for Maserati cars, and of course you also have the silver Maserati trident. On top of that you also have the Maserati logo over here. It's a little badge. Of course it's just a print and not a separate piece or anything on this 1/43 scale model. Perhaps the weakest part about this entire model is at the front, in the form of these headlights. I mean, first of all, they have pegs, horrible pegs right in the middle, and secondly, the headlight itself does not have any kind of detail at all. I mean, we do have a little bit of an orange indicator at the right, but otherwise, the features and the detail level of the headlight is just very poor. But if you can live with this, the rest of the model is actually very nice. And here is the car from the side. And this is probably the best view of the Maserati Quattroporte GTS, for the simple reason that the car just has these elegant lines running from the front all the way to the back in like one single smooth curve. And this is something that other competitors like the Audi A4 or the A6 or the BMW 5 Series cannot replicate in the same level, because they're all a little more boxy compared to this Maserati Quattroporte. Perhaps the only other manufacturer that manages to build these kind of elegant cars would be, for example, the CLS class by Mercedes-Benz, or Aston Martin with their Rapide. You can see that the door handles here are silver, fitting with the wheels. And then we have these three vents over here, although of course they're not actual vents, but rather just a decal. So taking a closer look at these wheels, unfortunately you can see that they do not have the Maserati logo in the center, but then again this is 1/43 scale, so it's also a budget manufacturer. I mean, this is Leo models and not Mini Champs or Auto Art or something like that, so. However, we do have a brake disc at the back. And I believe we even have a brake caliper. As you can see, the caliper is black and right there to the left. Under the flash, you can again see that this dark blue metallic looks really great when exposed to direct light. And here's a look at the rear wheel. And on top, over here, we have the Maserati logo. I think this is a great color, in both with the flash and without. And here's a look at the back of the car. You can see that these red taillights almost look like they're switched on and glowing. That's how well they contrast with the dark blue. And of course you can see that we have Quattroporte on the rear license plate, Maserati logo on top of that. It says Quattroporte here again, so a little bit weird. I wish that they could have put a proper license plate instead, since we anyway have Quattroporte here. The taillights do have a nice level of detail in terms of texture and all that. However, they do have pegs, so that's again a downer. The exhaust tips, as I mentioned earlier, are trapezoid shaped. That's how you know it's a GTS instead of a regular Quattroporte, because the regular one would have had them in just like a round shape. They got silver edges and look pretty alright. And now let's check out the interior. You can see that the car has a bright interior. This was another reason why I bought it. Makes it a whole lot more visible than if everything were black. And so at the passenger side, you can see that we do have some details here. The center console has two fans, and below we have a monitor. an LCD screen. The glove compartment over here even seems to have like a little handle, although it might be more visible from the driver's side. Got a stick shift in the middle. Then moving on to the back, you can see just how roomy it is. We have what appears to be a rear center console with the air vents there, climate controls. And this is a 4-seater, not a 5-seater. The seats look pretty luxurious. And the rear doors also have a lot of detail. Of course, you cannot expect too much detail on a 143 interior, but I mean, it's still fairly alright. And over here on the rear deck, we also have some details. And now let's check out the driver's side. So as you can see, we have a Maserati logo not just on the steering wheel, but also behind it on the instrument panel. You got your speedometer and your rev meter in blue. And while I think that the steering wheel is too thick, it does have a few buttons on either side. Here's a look at the interior once again. And while we're at it, some windshield wiper detail right here. Quick look at the bottom of the car. You can see it says Quattroporte GTS MY 2014, 143 scale, made in China by Leo Models. So yeah, I mean, even though this is sold as a WhiteBox, the actual manufacturer is Leo Models. Apart from that, we have like a little bit of a camshaft detail going on here, leading to the exhaust. Alright guys, I hope you liked this review of the 143 Maserati Quattroporte GTS by Leo Models / WhiteBox, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Imperial Diecast, signing out.